Yep, it's news time, and today is Sunday, November 3rd, and I have a couple of stories here, and so I mean these stories I'm doing right here. These are new stories, but it's really kind of weird how these things happen, and and the results could be the same in two different cities or two different states, but then the coverage that you get on certain news medias, it's not the same. The coverage is not the same. So as you can tell, the ever since the DC Dunce got ran out of Chicago when he tried to have one of his Klan rallies, he's been on a vendetta against the city of Chicago, and I'm going to show you in a minute. But right now, I'm going to start out in Canton, Ohio. An unarmed black men are killed by police officers all the time and are often acquitted. Meanwhile, there's at least one black man who killed a police dog who is serving 45-year prison sentence. His name is Kelantre Barfield, and he fatally shot a canine dog after breaking into a local Fisher's Food store in Canton, Ohio. Kelantre, who was 22 years old, had an encounter with a 3-year-old German Shepherd and his partner, Officer Ryan Davis, who were responding to a burglary alarm early one morning. Kelantre reportedly shot and hit the dog 3 times and even fired shots at the officer. The police officer was not hit, but Kelantre was still sentenced to 45 years in prison after pleading guilty to the dog's death and other separate burglary charges. Naturally, this sparked major controversy in urban communities nationwide because of thousands of unarmed black men and women have been killed by police and have gone unpunished. But when a police dog is killed, a black man, he received a harsh and unfair prison sentence. But this national outrage has accomplished nothing. Instead, another national outrage has sparked in support of police dogs. The dog's death led to the creation of a bill that would impose an even harsher penalty for killing a police canine. So now you have the the distinction between whose life is more important. Is a human's life more important, or is a dog's life more important? So apparently, the powers that be feel that the dog's life is more important than a human's life. So it's a sad day. It's a sad day in America, and it's a sad day for life itself. Anytime you can say, well, a canine dog has more value than a human being. It's a sad day. It's a real sad day. And this is where we are. This is where we are today. Yep, it's a crazy place. Okay, Omar Taylor was at a Northern California Halloween party hoping to entertain the crowd with music. The 24-year-old man from Pittsburgh was there to DJ, but instead was shot and killed Thursday at the Orinda party, advertised on social media. The Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office said he was one of 5 people fatally shot. To get that call was devastating. Lanisha Epps, Taylor's stepmother, told the news media, "This was a senseless, careless act. It was such a traumatic experience the family is taking on now." The shooter remains on the run, according to authorities. The other 4 victims were killed were Oceana Tompkins, Tyon Farley, Raymond Hill, and Javin County. 3 people were pronounced dead at the scene, and 2 died at the hospital, the sheriff said. Music and DJing was his happiness, and I don't think he was going in thinking there was going to be trouble or anything. And so this particular area was in Northern California, and it was in an area where people. This is Orinda is a suburb east of Berkeley in the Bay Area. So this was an area where it was a lot of money. People got money in this area, So it said 2 firearms were found in the house, and the crime lab is analyzing them to determine whether they were used in the shooting or any other crimes, authorities said. The home where the shooting happened was an Airbnb that prohibited parties. There were more than 100 people at the event when police arrived. Airbnb said it was horrified by the tragedy and is cooperating with the investigation. So, as of today, they're saying Airbnb is saying they're banning house parties at these Airbnb places. And Airbnb is like a place where you go and you rent homes. So that's how that works. So, and the other comparable story is like, this is the story that you've been seeing on the news every day, and this is both of these incidents happened on the same day. They both happened on Halloween. One was on the West Coast. The first story I just told you about 5 people got killed in California, in Northern California, close to close to Berkeley, San Francisco area. And this one child, well, 2 people got shot, but they're both still living, and that's in Chicago. So Chicago, people were like, "Oh, Chicago." Same thing happened in California. 5 people died. Nobody died in the Chicago shooting, but it's been the #1 story, and it's like Chicago police have filed attempted murder charges against a 15-year-old boy suspected of shooting 2 people on Halloween night, including a 7-year-old girl who was out trick-or-treating. His identity has not been revealed since he was a minor, but Chicago police announced late Friday that he faces 2 felony counts of attempted first-degree murder and 2 felony counts of aggravated battery discharge of a firearm. And the spokesman for the police department believed it was a gang-related shooting, and that the man who was in charge of it, that the man who was the target was a 30-year-old shot in the hand. The little girl was listed in critical condition with a gunshot wound to the neck, and as of Saturday, she remained hospitalized, but doctors are optimistic about her prognosis. The cell phone video captured the 7 shots that rang out and the chaos afterwards on early Halloween evening in the Little Village neighborhood of Chicago's West Side. In a spray of gunfire, a 7-year-old girl dressed as a ladybug and trick-or-treating with her family was shot. Police said the assailant was wearing a white Jason mask and was firing at a rival gang. The intended target was a man who was wounded in the hand, police said. Police said the man is not cooperating in the investigation. In the meantime, business owners and churches are coming together, organizing for upcoming vigils to support of the injured girl. And the situation, like I said, you got two similar situations. You got 2 shootings, both on Halloween. One's at a Halloween party where 5 people were killed in California, and then you have the 2 people shot in Chicago. And for some reason, the Chicago story is getting more press, even though the 2 people that got shot in Chicago survived. So hey, you see the news, and then you hear the news, and then you don't see the news. So it's like I don't know whether it's the East Coast, West Coast. It's just always seems like a bias with some cities, and that one bias that you have with Chicago is definitely caused by the DC dunce that got ran out of town when he tried to have his Klan rally there prior to running for office. And I'm glad they ran his ass out of town. Anyway, that's the news, baby.
News time. It's news time, baby. It's news time. It's news time, baby.
Peace. This is Stone.